newborn and mother. Nature repeating its miracle. Evidence again that dreams have heartbeats. Within an hour, a foal is upright. Amazingly, soon after, able to chase his mother. 1 year ago, the Breeders' Cup was born. As immediate as a foal's instincts to run, to race, so did this series of million-dollar races find its legs. The memories from that first running, capped by the ultimate stretch drive of the $3 million Classic, Gate Dancer, Slew of Gold, and the unknown long shot winner, Wild Again. As victorious jockey Pat Day absorbed his greatest victory, thoroughbred racing celebrated its first Breeders' Cup. Racing's biggest day was a classic.
Down.
It's a brisk and breezy autumn afternoon in New York. Partly cloudy, occasional look at the sun, temperature 50 degrees. Aqueduct Racetrack. We're 12 miles from central Manhattan, just 4 furlongs, a half mile from JFK Airport. A crowd expected for this second Breeders' Cup of 35,000 fans. Hello, everyone. I'm Dick Enberg. This, the greatest collection of thoroughbred racehorses in the history of the sport. 5 European champions are here to truly make this an international day of racing. We have $10 million at stake in 7 races, and it's the answer to the age-long problem through the centuries. Who has the better horse? Who has the fastest animal? And we found out last year. We'll find out again today. And at Hollywood Park, the inaugural was something special, Dave Johnson.
It had everything. It was a microcosm of racing. We had a favorite running away winning. We had a $100 long shot. We had 2 disqualifications, the filly beating the boys. And in the Classic, which we'll see a bit later, one of the great stretch drives of all time. And now in Breeders' Cup number 2, so many implications today, Dick. In every race, the influence on the breeding industry will be tremendous. And in every race today, the result's going to have a very big impact on the divisional honors awarded later in the year.
In fact, the horse of the year, Lady's Secret or Chief's Crown, they'll have a chance to win that honor this afternoon. Down on the rail to give us their unique insight is our NBC odd couple of racing, Harvey Pack and Pete Oxelm.
Thank you, Dick. You know, it's cold, it's bleak. Planes are flying over, seagulls are flying over. This is the real horse players track. I've already checked out the bars, the betting windows, and this is where you find the real hardcore, the New Yorker who really loves this sport. Don't you think, Harv?
This is my track. I know the wind, I know the dirt, I know the grass, I know everything you have to know about Aqueduct.
You might think this means Harvey's going to win today.
Not necessarily, but I'll lose intelligently.
Speaking of intelligently, let's get right away from Harvey and go to Tom Hammond and Bruff Scott.
Well, Pete, one thing is certain. This is the greatest day of international competition in racing history. Bruff, the Europeans are here in force.
They are 18 horses, 5 individual European champions. It's the strongest raiding party ever launched across the Atlantic. Big away game disadvantage, but we're very, very hopeful.
The first race, however, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, $1 million for 2-year-old colts and geldings over 1 mile, is an all-American affair.
It's been a pretty quiet paddock, in fact, down here as these young colts are getting ready to go out into the track for their race. The only interesting incident, Tasso, who was getting some support, he won the Breeders' Futurity in Kentucky, had to be saddled outside the saddling stalls, which are underneath the paddock here. He thought it was a little tight quarters, and the trainer thought it would be a little safer to put the saddle on the horse there. The riders are getting on board these 13 young colts, and some of them a little bit active, as you can probably see, and we are going to see an exciting race with these young horses. Let's send it back now to Dick and Dave.
All right, Sharon, and look at the odds in this initial race of the afternoon, and as you see the odds on NBC throughout the afternoon, they will be the exact odds on the tote board here at Aqueduct, and this is how it reads now. The entry of Quito and Louisiana Slew at 7-1. Papal Power and Au Bon Marché, not much support there. Danzig Connection at 8-1. Magambo's the current favorite at 6-5. Scat Dancer 11-1. Tasso, they like him at 5-1. Mr. Classic, Real Courage, no support there. Groovy at 19-1. Regal Dreamer, the long shot. Stormcat, the second favorite of the wagers at 9-2 as the horses take the track.
Moving on to the track, and there's a shot of Tasso, and the owner sort of backed into a good one here, Dick. This horse was in 2 sales and didn't reach the reserve price in both of those sales, so the owners got him back. And look at this, they've got a horse in $1 million race today, and that's Lafitte Pinkai Jr. in the orange and black, one of the great jockeys of all time. And there is number 5, Magambo.
He's built like John Riggins as the favorite, and Stormcat is more the Tony Dorsett in this race.
He's the favorite, 6-5. Let's take a look now at the entire field. We'll start with the entry of Quito and Louisiana Slew. And they're both trained by Wayne Lukas, who will be a major part of this afternoon. He's won 61 stakes races this year. Lukas has an $8.5 million in purse money. But here is Quito, who's raced only 3 times. He won his maiden race by 12, then he won the Count, and then he had a dull 4th in the Champagne. A lot of people gave up on him, but look for him to come right back to the winner's circle this afternoon. He's coupled with Louisiana Slew in the wagering. This horse has a lot of early foot. He's been training very well, and this mile race here, which is sponsored by Mum Champagne, is around 1 turn, and that suits Louisiana Slew real fine. Now, number 2 is Papal Power, who's in the first crop of the good sprinter Miswaukee. This horse is consistent and speedy. He won his last, but he's not with this quality of horse. Number 3, Au Bon Marché, and this horse appears overmatched, but Pat Day is the rider this afternoon, and always dangerous when Pat is aboard. Danzig Connection is number 4 by one of the hot new sires in the business, Danzig. This horse just got beat in the Young America at the Meadowlands. He carried 3 more pounds than anybody else that night, wore blinkers for the first time, and that helped him. He's got him on today. And Magambo is number 5. He's well bred. He's by Mr. Prospector, so a lot of speed and a lot of staying power out of his mare, Lakeville Miss, who won the Coaching Club American Oaks. This horse had a lot of trouble in the Young America, but came back to win the Champagne by 10 lengths. Look for him to be flying at the finish. Scat Dancer is the number 6 horse who's improving. He did win at Calder from post 19 in the Florida Stallion Stakes, but he's going to have to improve greatly to beat the big boys today. Tasso is the only juvenile to be supplemented to this race. We saw him in the paddock. He had an eye-opener in the Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland. He won by 6, last out a very good effort. Mr. Classic is a $25,000 buy from the Calder 2-year-old sale, but he may have reached his peak earlier in the year. He's had, this is his 12th start. He does have late speed, though. Number 9 is Real Courage. Hasn't done much of late. 2 wins in 5 starts, but he's up against the buzzsaws today. Jacinto Vasquez rides. Number 10 is Groovy, who has early speed, and he'll have even more because they put the blinkers on him today for the first time. That usually improves the early speed in a horse, but it looks like he'll be a pace casualty in this one. That's just too much speed. Declan Murphy rides. And Regal Dreamer, who was second to Tasso in the Breeders' Futurity, has late speed. Excellent long shot rider Darryl Montoya is aboard Regal Dreamer. And completing the field is the regally bred Stormcat, the first crop of the sire Storm Bird, a champion by Northern Dancer out of the brilliant race mare Tulingua, who Wayne Lukas trained when she was the terror of the sprinters. This horse won the Young America 3 weeks ago, and to show you how contentious that race at the Meadowlands was, the first 3 finishers are here, and they're getting the support of the crowd at Aqueduct. So that's the field, 13 of them for this 1 mile. It's the Breeders' Cup for juveniles.
The Juvenile. It's moments to kick off for the big day. Time to get your bearings. Start out with the likes of Quito. You'll notice him in that white bridle, and you'll see a lot of them today. They belong to Wayne Lukas.
He runs a big race here in the Cowden, but you should have seen him in the Champagne. You would have bet you would never see him again this year.
Stormcat, trained by Jonathan Shepard, king of the jumping horses, but this horse has made him level off.
There's Woody Stevens' Danzig Connection. He's never beaten Stormcat, second to him twice.
But one of those times, he was placed ahead of him by an instrument that last year's viewers of the Breeders' Cup know well. the stewards took the number down.
2 horses, noses apart.
Tasso, owner Jerry Robbins called me a few weeks ago, talked himself into running this horse, supplemented him, thinks he has a shot.
And if he wins, you'll ask for a cut, claiming you talked him into it.
And if he loses, I will definitely not share in the blame. I will share in Mogambo if he wins. I love this big, good-looking dude who's getting better with every race.
His race here in the Champagne really stamped him as the one to beat today. He won it easily, the distance is there, he looks like the horse.
Should set the pace for a great day of racing.
And let's go to the call of the race, the man who brought us all the excitement of Breeders' Cup 1 in Hollywood Park, Tom Durkin.
Thank you, Dick. Louisiana Slew has moved into line now. And we've got a couple more to load, including the front-running Groovy. They'll try to put that one right on top as they break from the gate. Regal Dreamer, big long shot there. Biggest payday for Daryl Montoya. And Stormcat will break from post position number 13. Groovy is in. There goes Regal Dreamer. And now they're all in line.
Man getting in. Man coming in 3.
And they're up in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Danzig Connection was away poorly. The field moves up the chute and heads for the main track. And Stormcat now, he's out for the early lead. Regal Dreamer is also right with him. And Groovy is sent after the lead. And toward the inside, Louisiana Slew. Those 3 across the track. Regal Dreamer is now dropped back to 4th. Papal Power is 5th on the inside. Tasso is racing in 6th. Danzig Connection and Quito now racing in 8th position. Scat Dancer is 9th. Au Bon Marché is now racing in 10th. Mogambo is 11th, and he's about 9 lengths off the lead behind a wall of horses now. Then it's Real Courage. Mr. Classic is the trailer as Groovy leads the way as the field heads for the far turn. Louisiana Slew is racing in 2nd. The quarter went in 22 4/5 seconds, the half in 45 2. And it's still Groovy on top. Stormcat stalking the leader in 2nd. Regal Dreamer on the outside is now racing in 3rd position. Louisiana Slew toward the inside is now racing in 4th. Here comes Scat Dancer, and Scat Dancer is moving into contention. Mogambo is 5 lengths off the lead at the top of the stretch, and the field turns for home. And it's Stormcat. Stormcat leads by 3/4 of a length. Scat Dancer surging on the outside. Regal Dreamer is racing in 3rd. Mogambo and Tasso full of run on the outside. They're inside the final furlong. And it is Stormcat who leads by 2.5 lengths. Tasso is full of run. They're running out of ground. Stormcat, Tasso, here's the wire, and it is too close to call. It's a photo finish. It can go either way. Was it Tasso? Was it Stormcat? I can't split them. The final time in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, 1:36 and 1. Dick Enberg, back to you.
Stormcat and Tasso fighting to get the nose on the wire, and it's too close to call. Tasso and Stormcat battling down the stretch, and Dave Johnson, the favorite, finishing back.
It was an interesting race, but right from the start. As a matter of fact, Groovy stumbled at the start, recovered, and was able to set those fast early fractions. And Tasso, who who did not get the perfect trip, was 4 wide down the backstretch. Stormcat got a beautiful ride by Chris McCarron. That's the beautifully bred horse who was in post position number 13. But he and Tasso are in a photo finish for the win here. But let's take a look at another stumble here as they move down the backstretch. That's Louisiana Slew along the inside. The 9-horse Real Courage almost went down with Jacinto Vasquez. And it looks like we're at the circus stick. He was able to stay on. I think he didn't lose his irons. And there's Tasso, who's in the photo finish. But what, we talk about Real Courage, Jacinto Vasquez just holding on and staying aboard for the rest of the trip.
And there is Real Courage, and his rider Vasquez back first, and hopefully all 100%. They'll be studying the photos. Is it Stormcat owned by W.T. Young and ridden by Chris McCarron, Stormcat number 12, or the 7-horse on the outside, Gerald Robbins Tasso, ridden by Lafitte Pincott.
We have one of our NBC cameras right on the finish line. It's not the official photo, but our camera shows number 7, and yes, here at the racetrack, they've placed number 7, Tasso, at the top of the tote board, with Stormcat unofficially finishing second. Scat Dancer rallied to be third, and Regal Dreamer was fourth. Magambo, the even money choice, was not on the board.
And here's the official order of finish, Dave.
Tasso, the winner by the photo finish. Stormcat was in second. Sorry, I didn't see the earlier ones there, but as you can see, bringing up the rear, Papal Power, Quito Groovy, Louisiana Slew, Danzig Connection, and Real Courage.
No question that Wayne Lukas, once a Wisconsin high school basketball coach, has the odds-on favorite at 3 filly entry in the upcoming race. He's saddling 10 candidates this afternoon. Wayne and his wife Sherry, Arcadia, California.
This is the home court of Sherry and Wayne Lukas, a powerhouse stable, a beautiful place. Makes you wonder why a guy is so greedy he's got to run 10 horses at you in the Breeders' Cup.
Pete, if you look around here, you know my gardening fee's high. I got to run a $10 million worth of purses just to make the bills. But most of this garden and the house and everything is for us so that maybe I can unwind and with Sherry a little bit when we do get done with a hard day.
Amid all this beauty lurks a mind of steel. Wayne Lukas may be the record-breaking trainer, but Sherry is the true handicapper.
I like to look for a horse that's run a very impressive race and not won, but has figures or maybe had a little bit of trouble, and then I look at the competition, all those things, the things you know about.
Let me say one thing, Pete. You're a single man. If you do get married, do not handicap with your wife. Believe me, I think that the marriage has a greater chance of survival if you don't handicap with the wife. She'll come with a horse and she'll say, I love this horse. And I'll say, are you kidding me? I've watched this horse train all week. He hasn't got a prayer. And then you know what happens. $24 later, she's cashing her ticket.
Cashing tickets is one thing. Keeping horses in training and winning the classics is another matter. Some say that Lukas hasn't done enough of that. Wayne, all racetrackers know that success also breeds a lot of backbiting and criticism. How do you respond when somebody says, well, he wins all these stakes, but his horses don't stand training into their later years and so forth?
Well, I think the bottom line, Pete, is that you got to keep your clients happy. The guys that are investing, the guys that are putting up the money. And we've had, I think, as many older horses go on, the Lice Magics, the Mount Livermores, and the Breeders' Cup, and they're all 4. And but you know, it's a game now when they take the 2s and the 3s, and if they get good, they want to retire them. But I don't think that's a fair criticism. I think we can stand on our record.
On the positive side, Lukas is probably best known for his uncanny knack of selecting yearlings. I wondered how he does it.
To put it in a layman's term, you remember when you were a small child and they had the coloring books and they had a scene maybe in a farm or someplace in the woods or something, and you looked at the picture and it said at the bottom, somewhere in the picture there's a cat hidden. And you look at the picture and you look at the picture and you can't see the cat. Nowhere can you see the cat. Then somebody says, all right, the cat is right here. Now when you look at the picture, all you see is the cat. The cat keeps coming out all the time. When I look at a yearling, and I don't want to sound like there's any mystique to it or anything, but Pete, I think I see the cat.
One criticism that often comes up is Wayne too cosmetic, just showing off with the statues, the flowers, the beauties of his stable.
When you demand that kind of excellence around your barn, everything manicured, everything done absolutely perfect, that attitude will carry over into the stall. If a guy will rake in a herringbone pattern in front of the stall, he will probably run the bandage on a very, very important leg the same way, with that same detail and that dedication. And so I think it's an overall attitude. And besides, I just like nice things.
Well, Wayne Lukas has a nice thing in his powerful 3 filly entry of family style Twilight Ridge and Are We Having Fun Yet in the upcoming race. Are We Having Fun Yet? Now, there's one of the more interesting names of this racing year. The Jockey Club rules limit a name to a total of 18 letters and spaces. There are 17 letters in Are We Having Fun Yet, plus 4 spaces. 17 plus 4, 21. Good name, but too long. So, are we having fun yet? Now to the paddock and a good name, Sharon Brooks Smith. 17 letters, 2 spaces. Too long.
Yeah, but Dick, I'm not a horse, so it doesn't matter. You know, family style, not the horse, but the phrase is part of the reason for the Lukas Stable's success this year. He's left his New York-based horses under the care of his son Jeff, who's an assistant trainer, and they have won half or more of the 50-plus stakes that the Lukas Stable has won so far this year. In fact, Jeff is here and will be saddling the horses today. Let's send it back to Dick.
Minutes away from the $1 million mile race for 2-year-old fillies. Last year won by outstandingly. Remember the DQ Franz Valentine taken down. There's one foreign entry, and so it is with our broadcast crew. Let's go to Bruce Scott.
Yes, with me, Cash Asmussen, former champion of New York, now champion of France, Family champion filly in France. How will she handle it?
Well, I believe that this filly, after some of the European horses I rode over here yesterday, the filly first time on the dirt seemed to run well. She won. I think that Family is definitely the quality, but will she handle the dirt the first time? That is a good question. I'm sure she's been prepared to run on the dirt, but it will be different for her. I can say that. It's a lot to ask of a 2-year-old filly, but if she does like the dirt, she has the quality.
Cash, good luck. Back to Dave.
And let's take a look at this field. We start with the 3-tiered entry from D. Wayne Lukas. Here's number 1, Family Style. Will Lafitte Pinkai Jr. take both ends of the daily double in both of the 2-year-old races? Well, he's on a very consistent filly. On paper, this is the horse to beat. She won the spin away at Saratoga and the Frisette last out at Belmont. Tactical speed to lay off the pace and then roar through the stretch. Now, here's Are We Having Fun Yet? And one thing to remember about this filly is that she has beaten the fillies 5 out of 5 times, and she only lost by a neck to Tasso, who we just saw take the opener here in the Del Mar Futurity. And completing the entry is 1X Twilight Ridge, who I think is the best of the 3, but she's lightly raced. She won her debut by 10 lengths, then the Astoria by a half, and then second last out in a stake at Philadelphia Park. She's always been favored. The word's out on her. Here's Fire Sweeper, who had a horrible race last out after winning 5 for 5 in her native Washington. She appears overmatched, but look who's aboard, Bill Shoemaker. And number 3, Family, who Cash Asmussen just talked about, only raced twice, both in France on the turf. A lot to ask of a filly to run on the dirt and get that dirt kicked back at her during the race. Number 4, Earl's Valentine, a full sister to Franz Valentine, who was first in this race last year and then disqualified. Only one race to go on in her career, and that's not enough for me. Number 5, Funestrada, should improve. Second to Family Style last out, and look who she's by. Fabiano, who's getting more respect every minute here at Aqueduct. Number 6 is next in line, and by the way, Mike Venezia rides Funestrada. Musical Lark is the 6th horse. Might be just a little bit too far for this filly. She seems to be at her best game when sprinting. Don Macbeth is the rider. Number 7 is Silent Account, second in the Salima last out. 2 front-running victories before that, trained by the giant killer, the miracle worker, Alan Jerkins, and Robbie Davis is in the tan and red this afternoon. I'm Sweets is the 8 horse who took the Gardenia only 9 days ago for the best effort of her life, but I doubt if she can put back-to-back victories together of that quality in so close a time. But Woody Stevens, the trainer, and Eddie Maple is the rider. And here is number 9, Dan Galbraith, Steal a Kiss, second in the Gardenia, and the Connections wanted rain. Fine mud sire, grouse dark, but it's fast here, and I don't think she has enough for these. And completing the field is Haluth, who won her only start, but it was a slow maiden victory, and I have a feeling they're just looking for part of the purse, Dick. That's the field, 2-year-old filly.
Dave, the 3 filly entry, Family Style. Are We Having Fun Yet? Twilight Ridge, 3 to 5 favorites at the moment. Family, a lot of folks like her at 8 to 1. Pat Day to ride. Let's go down to Tom Hammond.
One of the most memorable moments of Breeders' Cup Day 1 was Pat Day aboard Wild again, winning the first Classic. And Pat today in this race, Family, a filly from France, the best filly in Europe, they say, but never on the dirt. What problems will you encounter?
Well, I was speaking with the trainer, Maurice Zilbert, and he said that this filly has been training on the dirt over there, though she has never ran on it. He said he's had her in behind horses, got dirt in her face, and that was the only problem that I could really foresee would be the first time the dirt would hit this filly in the face, maybe she wouldn't really take to it. But I blew her out on the dirt yesterday morning. She got over the track very well, and I just looked for a real big race out of her this afternoon.
All right, Pat Day on Family in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies.
And here are current odds right up to the second with our tie into the computer here at Aqueduct. Family Style, Are We Having Fun Yet? And Twilight Ridge, 3 for the price of 1, but it's 3 to 5. You put up 5 to win 3. Fire Sweeper is now 39 to 1. Family is at 8. Earl's Valentine at 23 to 1. Funestrada is at 10. Musical Lark 6 26. Silent Account is 13. I'm Sweets at 4. Steal a Kiss 17, and Haluth is 65.
Are you sitting home awaiting the visit of Princess Diana? Well, the Juvenile Fillies are waiting for another visitor from Europe.
Yes, Family. She just won our top 2-year-old race against the colts too, but it's first time on dirt. We think it's difficult.
Silent Account comes with one big credential. Trainer Alan Jerkins, the giant killer who has saddled nondescript horses to beat the likes of Secretariat.
The trouble here, Pete, is Alan Jerkins isn't going to run. Silent Account is going to do the running.
That could be a problem. I'm Sweets has looked sour to some handicappers, but she does have Woody Stevens as a trainer.
The Woodman liked her race here, and he may be right, but frankly, I'm not going to bet on her, even though it's his filly.
Are we having fun yet? A question I have asked ever since I have met Harvey Pack. Well-named filly, but she staggers to the wire.
She's not having fun in this race. She's barely finishing the race, but please note, she still manages to win, and Wayne Lukas trains her.
Wayne Lukas also trains Family Style. Family Style is a very nice filly, perhaps the class of the race, but she drew the rail and will have a problem.
And she likes to run outside of horses, so she'll have to come around them to do it. She's got the class, she's got the ability. The Lukas entry will be the favorite.
And they're ready to run. Let's go to Tom Durkin.
Got 2 more behind the gate, including Twilight Ridge and Haluth. Twilight Ridge is in. Nick Santabata on Haluth. They're in the gate. We're ready for a start, and breaking through the gate there was Fire Sweeper. Fire Sweeper broke through the barrier right before the start. She was a little fractious in the starting gate, and Bill Shoemaker aboard. Good job there by the assistant starters who held on. And they will reload Fire Sweeper, and we'll be ready to go. Fire Sweeper breaking from post position number 2. Once again, we're ready for a start. They're all in line. And they're up. And it's Twilight Ridge, and she's out fast on the outside. Are we having fun yet is there? And Fire Sweeper on the inside. Haluth on the far outside. And the field heads for the main track, and from the far outside, it's Haluth now comes on to take the lead. On the inside, Fire Sweeper is right there racing second. Silent Account is kept close to the early pace. There goes Earl's Valentine, and she bulls her way through in between horses from 4th. Twilight Ridge is a close 5th on the outside, and her entry mate Family Style is beginning to move through on the inside. Are we having fun yet? Is just about 6 lengths off the lead. Musical Arc is now racing 8th in between horses. The European Femilite is now 9th toward the inside. Then it's Steal a Kiss, followed by Fun Estrada. She's second to last, and I'm Sweets is the trailer as the field moves into the far turn. Silent Account has moved through on the inside to take the lead. It's Silent Account in front by a head. And Fire Sweeper is staying right with her. Here comes Twilight Ridge now. She's making her run for the lead on the outside. Earl's Valentine is racing in 4th. Family Style now, and she rallies and gains ground on the leaders from 5th position. And from the back of the pack, Fun Estrada has found her best stride, and she comes out for racing room. And they're at the top of the stretch. And it is Twilight Ridge. She's put to the whip and holds on to the lead now by a length and a half. Here's her entry mate, Family Style, on the outside to join her. They have left Silent Account behind in 3rd. Steal a Kiss is putting in a late run. They're coming to the final 16th, and it's going to be Twilight Ridge. And Family Style is second. They left the others far behind. Here's the wire. Twilight Ridge has won it. Wayne Lukas sweeps 1-2, and it was Twilight Ridge and a jubilant Jorge Velasquez aboard the winner. They went faster than the Colts. 1:35 and 4. Family Style was right there second to Kenberg. Back to you.
Twilight Ridge. Eugene Klein, the former owner of the San Diego Chargers, sold that investment and thoroughly involved in the racing business, and he goes 1-2 with Twilight Ridge and Family Style as Wayne Lukas, the record-setting trainer, gets win and place in this 2-year-old filly mile.
And as we watch the action here, it's Silent Account giving way on the inside, but here comes Twilight Ridge with the white bridle. We're going to be seeing a lot of those. Wayne Lukas trained horses this afternoon. Family Style, the more seasoned of the trio, just cannot catch this daughter of Cox's Ridge, who shows that she can really take the distance here. And here comes Family Style to finish second, and they are far ahead of the rest of the pack, with the number 9 horse, Steal a Kiss, finishing third. Here's our NBC photo finish camera showing that the margin of victory for Twilight Ridge is a little more than a length, and Pinkai finishes second in this one after winning the Colt division as our opener.
Twilight Ridge pays $3.20, $3 and $2.20. Family Style, $3.20, $3 and $2.20. Of course, part of that entry. And Steal a Kiss at $4.40 to show. And presenting the award for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies to the Kleins, Joyce and Eugene Klein, the Honorable Martha Lane Collins, Governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
And here's the field for the sprint. Very tough entry from Lukas, Mount Livermore, and Pancho Villa. Livermore likes this track. Pancho Villa, $1.8 million yearling. Fighting Fit, who has broken bones in both of his front feet, but he races like the wind, and he's trained by Bobby Frankel, who grew up here at Aqueduct. Precisionist, who's going to get a speeding ticket this afternoon. And the interesting thing about this is that if this race were in California, Precisionist, my friend out on the West Coast, Jay Privman of the Los Angeles Daily News, says would be 8-5. He's made him his best bet of the day. So if you like value and you like a terrific horse, then Precisionist is the one for you. Charging Falls, who we saw in that spill, is in this one, but very much of a long shot. And Committed, the mare with Steve Cawthon aboard. 4 wins this year in 1985, 3 in Ireland and 1 in France. Ziggy's Boy, who has a shot with Cordero, is 5-2, getting a lot of support here. 56 in a row, love the name. He's by DiMaggio, get it? Beaten lesser in California, though. He's up against the biggies today. And Entropy at 24-1, always seems to get part of the purse. Tao Wee was his mommy. Smile, who's been racing in distance events, tries the sprint. Vilakaya, a 3-year-old filly who was second to Committed. Vacarm, and then we have the field of Al Salah and Key to the Moon, both quite long shots. That's the field for the sprint. I think the toughest one to figure of the day.
This is for the speed burner, 6 furlongs, 3-year-olds and up, Dave Johnson.
And if you want to take a look at the fractional times up in the right-hand upper corner of your television set, we're going to do a little color coding for you. We talk to the experts here, and we find out what's basically the average, and if it's an average fractional speed, that'll come up in gray on your set. But if they're really cooking up front, and if it's fast, then you'll see sort of gradations of red. If it's very, very fast, very, very red. And if one horse gets sort of alone on the lead, which I don't think it's going to happen here, but if he would, and slows the pace down, then the fractional graphics will be in blue.
Well, at the moment, the entry, Mount Livermore and Pancho Villa at 3-1, co-favorite along with the 6-horse, Ziggy's Boy, in the Breeders' Cup Sprint at 6 furlongs on the dirt track. A lot of support for the 9-horse Smile at 6-1, and some big prices in this field of 14 top 3-year-olds and older.
Sprinting. I always thought it was America's game. What is a European grass horse doing here?
She's a lady, she's hot, she's just been to Paris, and she's given the colts a whipping.
That may be okay over there. We'll kick a little dirt in her face, and she'll say, "Where's the plane back to Europe?"
Ziggy's Boy, trained by Walter Kelly, one of the grand old men of the turf. Been around almost as long as you, Harv.
He ran a big race up at Saratoga in August. Ever since then, not that good, but he's got Cordero aboard today.
Pancho Villa, named for a famous bandit, and sometimes he steals races, other times he just picks your pocket.
Never runs 2 good ones in a row, but he's trained by Lukas, and that's a plus.
Mount Livermore, another Lukas horse, and his plus, he's never lost at Aqueduct, something Harvey Pack could never say.
I've lost enough on this horse to balance Reagan's budget. But what about the horse on the rail, Fighting Fit?
Well, he's had so many shoeing problems, I think his only shot is if he had time to visit Gucci's before this race.
His biggest problem besides his shoes, he's drawn the rail in a 14-horse field. That's a tough place to be in an Aqueduct sprint.
Yeah, I'll do one. Stop.
Well, looking at this field, you can handicap all you want, but around the backstretch this week, many trainers, not even involved with the horses in this race, have mentioned to me one horse is, as we say, kicking down the barn. He's feeling so good. That's Precisionist. That's my pick, Harv.
Well, he's been away since June. I had liked Mount Livermore, but that wind is against the speed. I think Mount Livermore can clear this field, but that wind could blow him away. Bruff, you got a long one for us.
Well, I think Villikai is the value. It's difficult for the Europeans first time on dirt, but Committed is 8-1. Villikai has beaten that much by a last time. She's value at 40s.
If we don't leave, a 40-to-1 will win. Back to Dick and Dave.
And Tom Durkin ready for the call, the 6 furlong sprint.
They're all in line. They're off. Smile is away quickly for the lead. Charging Falls is there. There goes Mount Livermore. Mount Livermore sprints clear quickly now by a length. Charging Falls is trying to stay with them. Precision is toward the inside. Smile is sent after the lead from the outside from 4th. Ziggy's Boy came away racing in 5th. 56 in a row is 6th. Al Salah is 7th on the inside. On the outside, there goes Al Salah now beginning to move up. Committed is now moving through toward the inside from 10th position. On the outside, Villicaya now racing in 11th. Pancho Villa is 12th at this point, fighting fit. He's putting in his run on the inside now. Then Vicarm is next. Entremy is far back in the field, along with Key to the Moon, and now the field comes to the top of the stretch. Mount Livermore on the inside. Smile is right at his neck. Here comes Precisionist, and he's charging down the middle of the racetrack. And then farther back, the mare Committed is racing in for it. They're inside the final furlong. Smile, Mount Livermore. Precisionist surging. Smile is short laid. Precisionist down the outside. Mount Livermore toward the rail. What a finish. Here comes Precisionist to snatch the victory in the final strides. And there is Precisionist. He was the winner, stalking the early pace, and it was a quick one. 22 flat, 44 and 4, and the final time for this 6 furlongs, 1:08 and 2. Chris McCarron and Precisionist to win the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
A stirring drive, whipped home by Chris McCarron, Precisionist. Precisionist, the winner of the 6 furlong sprint, was 7th in a field of 8 in the 84 Breeders' Cup Classic. Precisionist, the winner this afternoon.
A tremendous training accomplishment by Ross Fenstermaker. Chris McCarron rode a beautiful race, mowing them down and picking up the pieces through the lane.
And owner Fred Hooper celebrates at 88. Number 3 horse, Precisionist.
He was doing the tango the other night, and he must be in 7th heaven right now as he comes down to the winner's circle. A tremendous start, beautiful. You can see just off the rail, the number 3 horse in the red and blue colors. He's getting his position in 3rd there, with Mount Livermore taking the early lead. Precisionist, I thought, might be trapped in on the rail. Smile with the yellow cap is going to charge up into the 2nd spot, but moving down the backstretch, Precisionist, who's been racing long and has been 5 months away from the races. My soothsayer, Jay Privman, had the right one here, making him his best bet of the day. But as they zipped through those fractions, 22 and 44 and 4, I said Dave's friend's track record was not in danger. It certainly was. They were only a 1/5 of a second, just a tick off the track record. Here comes Smile on the outside now to charge up to take the lead by a head. Mount Livermore 2nd. On the outside, here comes Precisionist, and he has the top 2 measured. Precisionist with Chris McCarron is going to mow them down, and down the stretch they come. Smile has the lead for just a second, but here comes Precisionist on the outside with the well-timed ride of Chris McCarron, the Dorchester, Massachusetts native, who was an outstanding apprentice jockey and a great journeyman. The regular rider of John Henry wins another one.
4-year-old Precisionist, the richest horse in the field, wins the 6 furlong Breeders' Sprint. Let's go down to Sharon. We understand she's with jockey Jacinto Vasquez, who rode Smile, the 2nd place finisher.
And thank you, Dick. Yeah, Jacinto did ride this wonderful horse. Coming back from a distance to a sprint, you can't be too disappointed in how your horse ran.
Well, my horse is a very nice horse, quick horse. He's doing what you want to do. He come out of the gate today very well, and I lay 2nd, and I just got caught.
You moved about where you wanted to. You figured he could handle the length of the stretch, but he just didn't quite have enough left at the finish.
Well, I had the horse inside. He never let me alone. I opened up about a 1/2 length and him, but he keep coming back. So I keep him busy all the way. I just got beat.
There's one thing good about finishing 2nd in a race like this. You'd have to win an awful big stake to win that much money in another race, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's a big purse. No making a difference. 1st, 2nd, or 3rd is a big money.
Well, congratulations on a good 2nd. Let's go back now to Dick.
All right, Sharon, it's official. Precisionist pays $8.80 to win, $5 to show, and $3.60 to play. Smile, $6.60 and $4. and Mount Livermore 280 for third. Let's go down to Harvey and Pete.
Thank you, Dick. One of the grand men of the turf for almost half a century, 40 years to be exact. I know when Fred Hooper started out with Hoop Jr. and won the Derby, he knew it would only take him 40 years to win $1 million race.
No, I didn't know I'd ever do that, but I'm always trying. So today we did it, and I'm very proud of it.
Wanda, your reactions to the experience?
So thrilling. He normally has so much speed, and it was come from behind, and I thought, oh, but he shifted gears. It was fantastic.
Before we go to Harvey with Chris McCarron, I should mention, anyone on a racetrack knows it's a great feat to get a horse ready off a layoff to run a sensational race. This race was sensational, and Ross Fenstermaker, I know you even blew him out for this race yourself.
Yes, I've been galloping him since Hollywood Park last year, and so far the horse is doing everything right. He's just a champion.
Well, he certainly showed it today. One tick off the track record. Let's go over to Harvey and Chris.
Last year we were waiting for Lafitte and Chris. This year we got them both. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Bring a horse back this long a layoff. That's a super training job and riding job.
Oh, no question. Oh, I don't know about the riding. All the credit goes to Ross. He didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare this horse, but he got him ready right on time. And I tell you, this horse has as much class as any horse I ever rode. He's a real classy animal.
The Californians must have gone crazy for this horse at this price.
Well, I don't know if they get the same price in the West Coast. I hope they did, but because I know he was well backed out there.
Congratulations, Chris. Great to see you here. Back to Dick.
Yeah, it's a happy Chris McCarron aboard Precisionist. Some not so happy, Dave Johnson.
Take a look at the entire top-to-bottom finish officially. Precisionist was first under the wire, beating Smile. Mount Livermore, part of the entry, was third. Fighting Fit finished fourth. Pancho, by the way, coming from second to last to get the fourth money. Pancho Villa was fifth. Ziggy's Boy, the lukewarm favorite, finished sixth. Then we go to Villicaya, eighth. Charging Falls, Key to the Moon, 10th. Vacarme, Al Salah, Entropy, and 56 in a row was 14th.
Our first race on Aqueduct's turf course is the Breeders' Cup Mile, a maximum field of 14, 3-year-olds and up to meet the challenge. The purse again, $1 million. Last year, this race was won by the talented filly Royal Heroine.
And Royal Heroine was trained by John Gosden, who sends a pair postward in this one, sponsored by Michelob. Capture Him and the Noble Player, 2 for the price of 1, and here is Robert Sangster's Capture Him, a Kentucky bred who raced in Ireland last year. And this year, 3 starts and 2 wins. Good morning workouts. And he is a possible long shot because of Gosden and his fine training. The Noble Player is the second part of this combo, and you get Bill Shoemaker. This horse was 5th in the million and 2nd last out. Tsunami Slew is the 2 horse, and next in our post parade, who broke the course record at Del Mar this summer. 4 smashing turf victories this year. Only 1 bad race. That was the Arlington, where the going was soggy. Tsunami Slew. Now let's move on to number 3, Dr. Schwartzman, with Craig Perrette riding. And Dr. Schwartzman had a big victory last out, but a mediocre summer campaign. Never So Bold also in the post parade there behind our panel of odds. Steve Cawthon rides the 4-horse. Never So Bold, a top English sprinter who won 3 grade 1s this summer. Cozine is the 5-horse, sitting on a win, throw out his last, which was on a sloppy track. He loves the turf, and they're getting ready to cash tickets on this one. He'll be tough. Walter Guerra rides Cozine. Forzando won the Metropolitan Mile on the dirt by 5 lengths. The question is if he can transfer that speed to the turf. Palace Music would be best at 1.25 miles. He's a top-class runner. Today is only his 4th trip postward this year. They've saved him for the Fall Classics here and in England. Late Act, a big race, 2nd in the Ballantine Scotch Classic at the Meadowlands last out, behind Sean Rampour, who's in the 1.5 mile turf race later on. And Late Act will be flying at the finish. Shadid is the best 3-year-old miler in Europe. 3 wins in 4 starts this year. He's back after a layoff. Roussillon, who's the best older miler in Europe. He's won his last 3. Al Mamoun, a bad post position, but the whispers are that Bobby Frankel, the trainer, may send this horse. Angel Cordero Jr. rides, and they're afraid he might get caught wide at the first turn if he doesn't go quickly to the lead. And the field, Chapel Cottage and Sitzmark, both would be complete surprises if they garnered the trophy here this afternoon. That's the field, 14 of them for the 1 mile on the turf.
The Breeders' Cup Mile. Around the tight turns of the Aqueduct turf course, 2 things you love to have: are speed and the rail. Tsunami Slew has both and could be a big factor.
You're right for a change, Pete. Big edge for American horses. They like to run early. They can fool the Europeans. Tsunami Slew, big chance.
Cozine, a Nehrud horse. John Nehrud, a Breeders' Cup man. He and his son Jan have passed up a lot of pots in this poker game to wait for the big one in the Breeders' Cup.
Thought he'd win it last year. I didn't think he got a perfect ride. The Nehruds want this race. This horse is ready.
So is Shadid, the best 3-year-old miler in Europe. He's just broken the track record at Ascot, beating Teleprompter, and he did yours at Arlington.
How's he gonna win, Bruff? Can't you see he's running the wrong way?
You just watch him, Harv. And we've also got Roussillon. He's the best older miler in Europe, and like some telecasters, handsome is as handsome does. Sticks his head in the air and puts his ears back.
He's drawn an outside post. He could end up at nearby Kennedy Airport.
Bruff brings up Harvey's frequent problem. Handsome is as handsome does.
We're getting ready now for the call. Let's again go to Tom Durkin.
Thank you, Dick Enberg. They're all in line.
Hey, you.
And they're up. And Roussillon was away slowly, spotting the field 3 lengths at the start. Cordero sends Al Mamoun to the front and moves over to the inside to take the lead by 2 lengths. On the outside, Shadid is up there to dispute the early pace. Then it's the gray horse, Cozine, now racing in 3rd position. Tsunami Slew is saving ground in 4th. Then it's Forzando between horses in 5th. Chapel Cottage is checked. Sitzmark is next in line. Noble Player is ranging up on the outside from 8th. Then taken to the outside, Capture Him. Then a gap of 3 back to Dr. Schwartzman and Palace Music. And now Preble Starkey sends Roussillon in between horses now. Never So Bold is second to last. The trailer is Late Act. He's a dozen lengths off the lead of Al Mamoun. And Shadid is pressuring him all the way. Cozine is stalking the lead on the outside, and Walter Guerra now sends him after the lead. Forzando takes to the leaders on the outside, now racing in 4th. Roussillon has moved into contention. Now he's right there, 5th. And Chapel Cottage is 6th toward the inside. The field rounds the final turn. Al Mamoun, he's still the one to catch, and he accelerates at the top of the stretch to a 2.5 length lead. Cozine takes aim at the leader on the outside, now racing in 2nd. Shadid is back in 3rd. Dr. Schwartzman a late run. Here comes the gray horse, Cozine, and he powers up now to take the lead. Al Mamoun is back in 2nd, and Shadid is racing in 3rd. They're coming to the finish, and it's going to be Cozine to win it, and a flawless ride by a jubilant Walter Guerra. He has won it, and a brilliant performance by both horse and rider. Stalking the pace, he went up after the lead as the field turned for home. He ran down Al Mamoun and went on to victory. The final time, 1:35 flat, 2 ticks off the course record. Dick Enberg, back to you.
Cozine running in its final race. The Nehruds will retire him to stud at Gainesway Farm in '86, already syndicated, and oh, the price has just gone up, or at least the value.
Cozine ran a beautiful race, and as expected, Al Mamoun was sent to the lead because he was afraid of being caught wide at the first turn. And watch as Walter Guerra, with stick in the right hand and now moving to a hand ride, he's going to move past Al Mamoun in the final strides. It appeared that Shadid was really the horse to beat. Walter Swinburne looked like he had a tremendous amount of horse underneath him, but he didn't in the final strides. Here comes Cozine, the big gray horse by Cairo on the outside. Roussillon was almost left at the gate, lost a lot of ground right at the start, rushed through between horses, had nothing left for the drive. But watch a champion here as Cozine moves under the wire, and it's a real tight photo finish for the place spot. No question about the winner, though, Cozine. Let's check our photo finish camera to see how they moved under the wire. There is Cozine. And Jan Nehrud on his way to the winner's circle. Oh, that's too tight to call. Al Mamoun on the inside, and the 7-horse Palace Music right there for the place and show spots. Jan Nehrud is really excited about something. Looks like he's a little mad. I don't know what it's about, but he should be happy about that $1 million victory of Cozine this afternoon, bred by his dad.
On a gray day, the gray horse, the 5-year-old Cozine, the winner, finished 3rd in this race last year, the Breeders' Cup, the Royal Heroine in the Mile. And it's now official. Cozine pays $9.20 to win, $5.60 to place, and $4 to show. Alma Moon, a big race for the outsider, $13.60 to place and $8.60 to show, and Shadid moved up to third, $5.60. The Breeders' Cup, featuring some of the top jockeys, not only from the United States and around the world, but also there are the standby jockeys. We don't get a chance to talk with them often, but we're fortunate today to welcome Lyle Dorff, representing that whole core of riders.
Marvelous. Nice to be here, too, Dick, and no kidding, a wonderful spot. I won't be able to talk to you too long. As you can see by the scale here, I'm a little over today.
160, it says.
Yeah, I'll have to be hitting the old sweat box soon. We're talking major perspiration if I'm going to ride today, so I won't have too much time here.
Well, now, Lyle, they say you're unusual in a lot of ways. Your riding style, in fact.
I do believe so. I don't believe anybody has copied my style yet. You see, I like to take my horses to the outside the rail. A lot of those guys get on the inside and they whip those horses and go real fast. On the outside, it's a lot longer, of course, and it takes a longer time to get around. But the safety factor, I think, is important.
Yeah, well, say for you, Jai, it's you know, life or death sometimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why I've learned. I used to fall off a lot. But now I tie myself to the horse, which I think is a lot.
You tie yourself?
That's correct, except for about 3 races back with some murder. I tied one leg to the horse and the other to the starting gate. Unfortunately, I didn't catch that until the gates actually sprung open there.
Now what happened?
Well, I yelled whoa a lot, and it really did. As a matter of fact, all the way down the track, only higher. Whoo! A lot of that.
The relationship, we hear it all the time, between jockey and horse.
Very important. That's the thing. Get to know your horse. That's the important thing about that, right?
And how do you do that?
I normally take him out to dinner. Get a little booth in the back, little sandwich, couldn't hurt, piece of pie. Talk about school songs, children, and things of that nature. Although it's kind of difficult when you go home to get a seat on the bus when you're together like that. People are annoyed at things like that.
Speaking of going home, Santa Anita, Breeders' Cup 3 next year. Will we see you there?
I do believe. I'm going to start walking now, see if I can't get down to wait. It's nice talking to you, and it's a beautiful, wonderful place. Is that you making that noise, or is that an airplane? Huh?
That's Lyle Dorff, ladies and gentlemen, representing the standby jockey. Dave?
I need a smaller boot. These are awful tight. Murder shoes and the pump.
Well, he'll be at Santa Anita. Of course, that was Tim Conway, the writer and star of The Long Shot, a movie that's be coming out in January. And this will be the setting for the Breeders' Cup next year. One of the most glorious places to go to the races on the face of the earth. Look at that beautiful European walking ring nestled at the foot of the gorgeous San Gabriel Mountains. It'll be Santa Anita, the setting for Breeders' Cup 1986. If you're in Southern California, I know you're going to want to be there. Of course, NBC Sports will be there, too.
Oh, and that is one of the beautiful tracks in the world, Santa Anita. Well, let's recap the 4 races thus far on this Breeders' Cup afternoon. In the first race, Tasso and Pinkai, the winner of the Juvenile. Then Twilight Ridge, one of the Wayne Lukas entries. Jorge Velasquez, the winning jockey on Twilight Ridge in the Juvenile for Fillies. Then Precisionist in the sprint, Chris McCarron in a 3-horse finish, and Cozine, Walter Guerra, back-to-back, 84 and 85 in the Breeders' Cup. A winner, Cozine, in the final race of his career. You know, there's little argument as to the beauty of the thoroughbred, evidenced by the perpetual romance of a range that runs for 10-year-old girls in rural America to billionaire sheikhs in the Middle East. Indeed, beauty surrounds racing. Beginning this year, we're going to have a continuing series on those who breed these elegant, lovable creatures. 3 breeders, 3 young foals. Let's start at the beginning.
Privacy can be very public in the horse breeding business. Story number 1, at Warmack Farm, Kentucky, to the grey mare Icy Trina, her 3rd foal, a filly by 10-race winner Inverness Drive. Story number 2, at Spendthrift Farm, to the much-mothering Added Luster, a colt, her 10th foal, a son of the Triple Crown-placed Golden Act. Story number 3, at the Tom Gentry Farm, to the chestnut mare Crimson Saint, an 8th foal, a filly by Secretariat, full sister to Breeders' Cup entry Pancho Villa. Already we recite the pedigrees, ponder the racecourse possibilities. But back in the cradle, all these little foals know is that they have a set of legs and cannot set them up. But within the day, we've had another miracle. That little struggling tripod is up and ready. Ready to trot alongside mother, as in herd times out in the wild. Ready, as the blood says through the generations, to be a running machine. And just because they are seen as machines as well as little Bambis in the field, we are already, 5 months in, facing the first great trauma. The weaning, the final separation of the foal from its mother, and the decision of the owner whether he too wants to part. At Woolmack, Icy Trina separates from her filly, but her owner is not parting yet, for reasons that are strictly business.
To be quite frank with you, I probably have got a little more money in her mother than I should have, and so it's just a situation where in that I feel like I need to kind of personally control these offspring until they prove to me that they have some ability or don't have.
So next year we'll see how the filly progressed at home before going in August to Jones' own training center in Texas. It'll be different at Spendthrift. Mother and son have already been separated, and while first confusions soon settle, the big world outside must be faced. For however charming he looks, this colt's still being conceived and reared with a view to a more public place.
We sell all of our colts, have always sold all of our colts. There are some syndications here on the farm that occasionally buy one of our horses back, but when they go to market, we go to sell.
So the auctioneer's hammer will decide on just whose stage our Golden Act colt will develop next year. Life looks a bit easier for the Tom Gentry filly. Her blue-blooded relations, half-brother fetched $7 million as a yearling, means she's almost beyond price.
If an earthquake came in here and just killed everything but this foal and I had to sell it for survival, that would be, at this point, the only way I would ever think of entering her into the sale.
Confident words, but the truth is that each of these stories is uncertain. And in another year of our threefold story, much will have happened on the road to the races.
We're back with the post parade for the 5th race. This is the $1 Million Breeders' Cup Distaff at 1.25 miles. And here's number 1, Lady's Secret. 8 wins in a row, all stakes event. Maybe Horse of the Year if she wins big here this afternoon. Lots at stake for Lady's Secret, the gray by Secretariat. Life's Magic, last year's 3-year-old champion, and second in this race as a 3-year-old. A lot of late speed. So, Dick, it sets up like a Lukas relay race. If Lady's Secret gets tired, then Life's Magic's liable to pick up the baton. And also a lot of support for the 3rd member of this team. It's Alabama Nana, and support from the lady that taught me how to read the racing form, by the way. Alabama Nana has the advantage of a win over this track, and she could repeat her victory. If she could repeat her victory in the Lexible, where she blitzed her rivals, that'd win this race. Bargain hunters, take note, 3 for the price of 1. I say so, I say not. Number 2, this horse overmatched. And even though Eddie Maple is the rider, I don't think that has the credentials to match strides with these this afternoon. Let's take a look, though, at Don't Stop the Music. She will have to go after Lady's Secret. She could upset. She was very wide last out when she took the Spinster Stakes at Keeneland. Number 4 is in front of the grandstand now, and it's Eastland. First race on the dirt. She's been exclusively on the turf. She's by Exceller. Chris McCarron looking for another victory this afternoon, but I think he's going to have to look mighty far. And completing the field is Franz Valentine looking for revenge. She was the one who was first under the wire in the Juvenile Filly Breeders' Cup race last year, only to be disqualified. Now, she did beat Colts in her last out at Santa Anita, but she has yet to win in New York. So this race shapes up as Lady's Secret versus a 6-pack of talent in the $1 Million Breeders' Cup Distaff.
Well, Dave, many here at Aqueduct, especially out of the wind, are perusing the daily racing form, that racing Bible, for information that might lead to picking that special winner. But the racing form isn't all hard facts and figures. It's also fun, thanks to an artistic Frenchman.
Pierre Belloc, you may remember him as a jockey in his native France many years ago, or as the political cartoonist for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Or if you're introduced to him as Peb, usually a smile creeps across your face. He's our favorite cartoonist. Do you wish you were riding in the Breeders' Cup instead of drawing it?
Yeah, well, I wish I could ride, but I would have to be 35 years younger, first of all. But it's a dream.
At what point did you cast your lot with racing and cartoonist?
Well, racing, cartoons is part of my life. I was born into racing because my father was in the horse business. So I was sketching and cartooning when I was a little kid.
What message do you try to convey in your cartoons?
A message of joie de vivre and humor and everything. So I'm trying to bring the best I can as far as joie de vivre and humor into the sketches, because I think the racing industry shouldn't be a pompous thing. It should be always something active and something gay, something wonderful.
And your ideas for the Breeders' Cup?
To me, the symbol of New York is the Statue of Liberty. So the Statue of Liberty, I took some liberty with her. So I did the Statue of Liberty with the face of a horse. And the jockeys are, you know, visiting the statue, and you have the logo of the Breeders' Cup on top of it. And it's a typical type of poster for this Breeders' Cup 2 in New York.
A marvelous talent, Peb. And we're going to see some marvelous equine talent. The Breeders' Cup Distaff Distance Championship for fillies and mares. American Classic distance of 1.25 miles in the dirt. Smallest field, 7, with only 5 betting interest. Trainer Wayne Lukas with that 3 filly entry and a big favorite at 2-5.
Life's Magic, Lady Secret, Alabama Nana. Now 1-2. You saw it change just as it did here at the racetrack as we tied into the computer system here. I Say So is 11. Don't Stop the Music at 2.5-1. Eastland at 34, and Franz Valentine at 5-1.
And let's go upstairs now and Tom Durkin.
No, sit down here. Sit down. Just sit.
And they're off. Eastland was bumped at the start as Lady Secret veered out. Franz Valentine is right there. Alabama and Emma, they're on the outside. Velasquez has Lady Secret removed from the rail and out to take the lead by 2.5 lengths. Franz Valentine has moved into second now. I Say So has moved up on the inside third. Alabama Nana placed off the pace on the outside fourth. Don't Stop the Music is saving ground all the way on the inside, followed by Eastland, and Life's Magic is the trailer. Lady Secret, she's out there winging. She's opened up a 5-length lead early, and the first quarter went in 23 2/5 seconds. The gray daughter of Secretariat takes the field into the backstretch with a 6-length lead. Franz Valentine is second on the inside. Alabama Nana alongside third by 2.5. The half in 46-4. It's still Lady Secret. They're beginning to cut into her lead now. It's diminished to 3.5 lengths. Franz Valentine is second on the inside by a neck. Alabama Nana kept close to the leader on the outside third. I Say So is racing in fourth. Don't Stop the Music, and she's about 6 lengths off the lead now. Life's Magic is second to last. Eastland is dropping out of it as the field heads for the far turn. 3/4 in 1, 11 2. They're gaining on Lady Secret now. Jorge Velasquez asks her for more. She's still there by 2 lengths. Alabama Nana is moving strongly now. Second from the back of the pack comes Life's Magic. She swings wide for racing room. Don't Stop the Music is racing in fourth, but they still have to catch Lady Secret, who comes to the top of the stretch with the lead by 3/4 length. Life's Magic on the outside. Life's Magic on the outside has taken the lead now. And Lady Secret, the front runner, is now back in second. Alabama Nana is racing in third. Don't Stop the Music on the outside fourth, and it is going to be Life's Magic. She's winning this one, pulling away from the field, and has left the field behind in the wake of a devastating performance. Life's Magic has won it by 6 lengths. Well, a bit of an upset there. Everybody expected Lady Secret to be the winner. She set the pace throughout. They hit the mile in 1:36.4. The final time, 2:02 flat. Life's Magic to win the Breeders' Cup Distaff.
Well, Eugene Klein's dream of taking his charges to the Super Bowl did not materialize, but if this isn't a super day for Gene and Joyce Klein, Life's Magic. And Lady Secret 1-2, 2 Klein horses just as they finished 1-2 back in the Juvenile for fillies.
But Dick, the whole complexion of the race changed at the start of the race. Many expected Don't Stop the Music to go and chase Lady Secret, but watch here as the 4 and the 2 come in right at the start and give the squeeze play to Don't Stop the Music. That was I Say So from the inside, Eastland from the outside, and it was Lady Secret on an easy lead with Franz Valentine. Now let's watch the start head on. We're going to be watching the number 3 horse here, That's Don't Stop the Music. The horse on the inside, I Say So, as they open the gates, is going to go to the outside. The 4-horse is going to go to the inside. Let's watch the start and see why Don't Stop the Music couldn't challenge Life's Magic or Lady's Secret early. As you see, a traffic jam, just one of the breaks of racing. The draw for the post positions put Don't Stop the Music right between those two. And when Frank opened the gate, that was all they wrote. It was Lady's Secret going to the early lead, and then that Lukas relay race as Life's Magic came and picked up the baton. And here you'll see them coming to the top of the stretch as the gray filly by Secretariat gives up the lead, but she gives it up to Life's Magic by Cox's Ridge, who's had another winner here this afternoon. Cordero aboard, Life's Magic, trained by Lukas, owned by Eugene Klein, and they finish 1-2 for the 2 to 5 shots. That place bet looks awful good right now. Alabama Nana, who was third at this point, with Lukas running 1, 2, 3 through the stretch, but it's Don't Stop the Music coming up for the show hole. Here's the winner, and a real good race for Life's Magic, who was a 3-year-old champion last year and wins the Distaff this year. Our photo finish camera from NBC Sports shows that it's Life's Magic by about 6 lengths, with the gray Lady's Secret second and Don't Stop the Music third.
It's now official. There was no show wagering with a short field, so the entry dominates 280 and 240. Life's Magic and or Lady's Secret. Don't Stop the Music finished third. Only one win in the previous 12 starts this year. Life's Magic and Angel Cordero have won the Breeders' Cup Distaff. A celebration, of course, this entire day is, as the world recognizes the greatest collection of racehorses ever assembled for a day of racing. The relationship of man and horse does come in all sizes and traces back thousands of years in time.
The Thoroughbred, glorious fulfillment of a many-centured story involving his ancestors and ours. For we were just grunting in caves when little hooved things called ear-hippus were scuttling the earth. An age later, they'd become rough ponies Eastern Europe still has today. By Grecian times, they pulled chariots. By Roman days, they carried Caesars with legs as yet unaided by the stirrup. But when the Norman knights came to conquer England in 1066, the invention of that stirrup gave the rider much more grip in the saddle. The medieval warhorse was the most fearsome weapon of his time. A far cry from his direct descendant, the Clydesdale, plodding gently round the plot today. But as artillery developed, cavalry needed speed, not weight, and these, don't forget, were the fastest troop and weapon carriers until modern warfare removed the horse from the battle zone. In America, the story is shorter, but the horse's role even more central. When Columbus arrived, there were no horses across the land. When Cortez came, the locals thought he must be a god to walk above the earth. But if the horses appeared late, they flourished quickly. And as the herds grew, so American man asked, why use 2 legs when 4 will do? The Indian for basic food, then the cattlemen for wealth and land as well. For 4 centuries, America was a horse-drawn, horse-carried land. But then came the railroads. Horses were no longer the ultimate beast of burden. And with the Model T Ford, he wasn't even the quickest thing for a Sunday jaunt. No longer one of the central engines of life, the horse has instead become one of the principal partners in pleasure. From hairy-heeled monsters to dinky-tailed tinies, the horse is still working with man. Sometimes competitively ornamental, sometimes still honest, grafting, essential. And of course, pleasure can take you into fancy turns. This is the ultimate, the famous Lipizanas at the Spanish riding school. This, the Tennessee walking horse. Some walk. This multi-movement routine by the 5-gated horse. Aren't walk, trot and canter enough? Some see every fence as a challenge for those springs in the heels. Others are so supple and flowing, they'd make a ballerina blush. But for all those pleasures, the crowds follow horses to ask questions already raised when Surreys went at speed. Which wretched horse goes faster than the other? There's the standard breds, a long way now from that first great aim to pull a buggy through a 2-minute mile. For the American quarter horse, a mile is already 3 times too far. Out west, they run just a quarter mile, but the purse, the crowd, and the interest could blow your mind. But most of all, they follow the horse we celebrate today, the thoroughbred, started in England 300 years ago by breeding our mares to eastern stallions like the Godolphin Arabian, the Byerley Turk, and the Darley Arabian. It remains an astounding genealogical fact that at least one of these 3 originals is found in the pedigree of all 300,000 active thoroughbreds today. I could claim that this is England's greatest gift to the animal kingdom. But today, let's just say that these horses, this spectacle, belongs to everyone.
Last year, the 1.5-mile Turf Classic was won by English-bred Lashkari. Lashkari will be involved in the race today carrying 2B. He's owned by the Aga Khan. Lashkari, a 53-to-1 long shot at Hollywood Park last year, the longest shot in the field, and won it, is back today defending his title on this a tighter, more challenging course for the European entries. Oh, by the way, Life's Magic, Kentucky bred, so it's Florida 4, Kentucky 1. Let's go down to Harvey and Pete.
Dick, I always like Florida to be ahead of anybody. I'm prejudiced in that area, but the interesting question in this race, Greenton is getting well played. He's second choice to Pebbles, and he's been a hard luck horse. You know all about hard luck, Harv.
I am a hard luck player. Grant, I happen to have liked him that day when he got stuck on the rail and he couldn't get through. Charlie Whittingham decided to go in this race instead of the dirt race because he found out that Andy Beyer had bet on Granton to win the Breeders' Cup Classic. I think he made the right choice with grass, but remember, the choice was based on the track being muddy today, and it's dry.
That's right. Andy Beyer, by the way, the very distinguished and outspoken handicapper for the Washington Post. Another interesting thing, New York horse players are probably as savvy as anybody in the land. I'm kind of amazed that after watching what happened in Arlington Park in August, they're letting teleprompter go off at the moment at 17-to-1.
Frankly, both you and I do like teleprompter because the turf is firm. He could jump out into the lead, and he's going to be very tough to catch. After all, he's as good a grass horse as there is in the United States. Win is not running.
And last year we waited for Lafitte and Angel and Chris to make their appearance with us. They're all making it today. And Angel may just be ready to make another one. He likes his chances on Bob Back. He had a rough trip last time.
He did have a rough trip. He took the tape home of the race and studied it. And as he was going back after winning the last race on Life's Magic, he said to Angel Penna Jr., the trainer of Bob Back, "This is the one I want for you."
Angel may be ready for some serious celebrating if he could get this one home. It should be an interesting event. Of course, we can't lose sight of the fact, as you pointed out, Dick, that last year we had a $100 horse in it. Not out of the question this time around, too. Back to you, Dick.
All right, Pete, this is the race that I've been looking forward to, Dave Johnson. This should be a dandy.
It should. Last weekend here in New York, we had a marathon with Orlando Pizzolato the winner. Here's our marathon on the turf this afternoon in a full field. Strawberry Road. And this is the world globetrotter in the field. He's been on that Strawberry Road from his native Australia to the United States and then Japan and France and England. Now back here. He raced on 4 continents. I liked him last year, but I'm not going to go for him today, so he'll probably win. And Steve Cawthon, the only jockey to be a champ in both England and America, is aboard. And here is number 1A, Bob Back. Had fair form in England, but ran a bang-up second to win last out here in New York. A lot of support, and Angel Cordero rides Bob Back. Theatrical is 1X, the third part of this entry, and to show you how deep the talent and value runs, Ed McGrath, who insures many of these thoroughbreds, told me that Theatrical is insured for $10 million, which is what he was syndicated for. Lester Piggott rides this, the last major race ride in his brilliant 37-year career. Those 3 coupled in the wagering, and now a pair. Chernazar, the number 2 horse who was stopped cold in the Arc last out, and before that he had 3 sizzling victories in England. Walter Swinburne aboard. Lashkari, who we know won this race, is the stablemate of Chernazar and coupled in the wagering with Yves Saint-Martin in for the riding assignment. There's Chernazar, and just behind, wearing the white cap, is Lashkari. There's Lashkari with the great French jockey Yves Saint-Martin aboard at 53 to 1 last year, 9 to 1 on the tote board right now for the number 2 entry. And this race, sponsored by First Jersey Securities, also has the likes of Greenton in it, and he hasn't won since June, but nobody has lost respect for this thoroughbred machine. We've heard about his bad luck. He has the talent. All he needs is just a little bit of good luck to win today. Danger's Hour, the 4-horse, impressive in the Rutgers at the Meadowlands, but this 3-year-old, it would be very difficult for him to come back with back-to-back goodies like he ran across the river. And here is Morjan, number 5, with Richard Migliori. He won his last out in the Kelso, but it was against much lesser company. Tom Skiffington, an ex-steeplechase rider, is now the trainer. Charrampour might be better off on soft going. The owner-trainer did a rain dance last night, but to no avail. Charrampour is breaking from post 7 with McCarran aboard. Now the mare starting from post 8. It's number 7 here at the track, the durable mare, Persian Tiara. She'll win if she comes off the pace, gets a lot of luck, but she's racing against colts, and she often does well against colts. Bayamont, number 8, better earlier this year. He was 3rd in the Man o' War, had lots of trouble in that one. First time off the plane seems to be better than a second attempt for this one. Cash Asmussen is aboard. Who's for Dinner has lost his form, and I really don't expect this one to be around at the finish. Walter Garrow looking for another victory this afternoon. Teleprompter, the gelding, the John Henry of England, hero of the Budweiser Arlington Million, raced once in England but had trouble in that one. And Pebbles, the 4-year-old filly, is simply tremendous. She is the best filly in Europe. She can beat the colts. Last time out, she beat Slip Anchor, who won the English Derby, and 2 outs ago, she beat Rainbow Quest, who won the Arc. And that's Pebbles, and we'll see if Pat Ettery can bring this one home this afternoon.
Dave, as we look at the current odds, argument considerably throughout whether it'll be a European or a U.S. horse. Thus far, the Europeans favored. That takes us right to Bruff and Pete for their feelings.
Bruff, I'll let you start it out with the Strawberry Road entry.
Well, Strawberry Road has a decent chance at his best, but he's getting long in the tooth, I think, really. And the deal about this race, Pete, we need it to avoid a whitewash. The deal about this race, I think Pebbles is too short. Pebbles is a brilliant filly at her best. She was at her super best last time. Bob Back is a horse who's ordinary. Theatrical Lester Pickett's last ride, not good enough on our ordinary form. Chernazar, he's a horse who gets slow to get going.
Let's just check the prices as we go through, Ruff. The Strawberry Road Bob Back theatrical entry is 7 to 2. Chernazar, the slow starter that you fancy might be coming at the end, and Lashkari, last year's defending champion, 8 to 1. Greenton, the hard luck horse, is 5 to 2. Danger's Hour, perhaps the main New York hope, 10 to 1. Morjan, 47 to 1. Charrampour, Broadway Bobby Frankel's horse, 26 to 1. Persian Tiara, Adrian Maxwell, always a dangerous guy. He's 44 to 1. Bayamont is 24 to 1. Who's for Dinner, 55. We hope John Neighbor is not going to be so greedy he's going to win 2 of the Breeders' Cup races that he helped invent. And Teleprompter, I mentioned before, I think a big price, 16 to 1.
$900,000 to the winner. The total purse, $2 million. Pebbles supplemented for $240,000 to earn a chance to win that $900,000 prize for first place. Well, the Europeans feel this will be their moment, Dave.
There's Lord Derby, and he is back from the mutual windows and has Teleprompter in his binoculars.
There's always something special about a long race on the grass, and ready to call it for you, here's Tom Durkin.
Thank you, Dick Enberg. The defending champ, Lashkari, moves in, and the hero of the Arlington Million. There goes Teleprompter, and there are 2 more behind them. There's England's Pebbles. Come on, the Blues did not escort her all the way to the starting gate. Perhaps they shall reunite after this event. 1 mile and 1/2. They'll be going around 3 turns here. They've got a pretty good run to the first turn. About, I'd say, 2 furlongs before they hit that first turn, and then they round that one and come by the stands for the first time, and then another complete circuit around this 7-furlong oval here at Aqueduct. The turf course is 7 furlongs. If you're new to racing, that calculates to 7/8 of a mile. Now Theatrical, a little bit reluctant to move into the starting gate. And Lester Pickett, he will be 50 years old on Tuesday. They're all in line.
Get in here. Get in.
And they're up. And Persian Tierra is going out for the early lead. Who's for Dinner is there. There goes Teleprompter now, and he's up to take the lead. Teleprompter sprints clear quickly by 3 as they head for the first turn. Who's for Dinner now moving into second. Strawberry Road is now third toward the inside. That farther back Persian Tierra has now settled into 4th position. Lashkari is 5th on the outside. Greenton is steadied. Danger's Hour is 7th in between horses. Theatrical is 8th on the outside. Bob Back is now racing in 9th position. By him on 3 wide round the turn. Chernazar is in between horses, now racing 11th. And Pebbles is 12th at this point. Sharon Poor is 13th on the outside. Morjan 14th and last as they pass us for the first time. Tony Ives has Teleprompter out where he wants to be. He's trying to throttle that speed. The lead is 4.5 lengths as they pass us for the first time. Who's for Dinner is rated off the lead in second. And toward the inside, Strawberry Road is tucked nicely in third. Persian Tierra is still racing in 4th. Greenton has racing room now, and he moves through on the inside from 5th. Lashkari, between horses, now races in 6th position. Then Theatrical caught wide going into the second turn. The field heading for the backstretch, and now they're getting to Teleprompter. His lead's been cut to 2.5 lengths. Who's for Dinner now has asked for more run, and he moves strongly, now racing in second. Strawberry Road in hand and racing in third. Persian Tierra. There goes Greenton now, and Pinkai puts him in gear. Theatrical just 3.5 lengths off the lead. Sharon Poor, and he's picking off horses one by one. Danger's Hour is there. Lashkari just 4 lengths off the lead. And Pebbles, she'll need racing room. She's in tight toward the rail, just 3 lengths off the lead. As the field moves into the final turn, it's still Teleprompter. Who's for Dinner and Greenton. They're both chasing him now. Persian Tierra right there on the outside. Strawberry Road. Danger's Hour between horses, looming boldly in 6th position. Pebbles still needs racing room. She's just 3 lengths off the lead. Then it's Theatrical and Lashkari as the field turns for home. Greenton charging after Teleprompter. Pebbles with racing room now, and a daring move by Pat Ettery, and Pebbles has taken the lead. It's Pebbles now in front. Strawberry Road coming after it from the outside. Strawberry Road and Pebbles, they're dueling to the finish. Pebbles is game and determined. Strawberry Road driving hard. They're running out of ground. England's Super Filly. Pebbles has won it. And Pebbles saving every bit of ground. Pat Ettery, a daring move at the top of the stretch, moved her through a narrow opening as the field turned for home and went on to victory in this $2 million Turf Classic.
Pebbles, the unofficial winner. A day for the ladies. They supplemented her at $240,000. They predicted that when she makes her move, she comes out like shot out of a cannon, and indeed she did down the stretch.
And it's a new track record of 2 minutes and 27 seconds. That's clips more than a full second off of the old one, which was set by the brilliant bowl game. Let's watch this daring stretch drive. And you're going to watch Pebbles now, who is 5th on the inside, jockey wearing the maroon colors. And he has nowhere to go but on the inside if he's going to win it. And watch Pebbles come through. I wonder if the gelding Come On the Blues is watching and cheering, as many in the crowd here are. 2-1 favorite on the tote board. Teleprompter stops. Greenton doesn't have it, but now here comes Strawberry Road. Strawberry Road with Cawthon on the outside, charging up in the final strides. What a stretch duel as Pat Ettery brings Pebbles from way, way back. This horse was blocked early, stayed on the rail, saved the ground, and then held off Strawberry Road for a fabulous victory for the 4-year-old champion from across the sea.
And it appeared the 5-horse Morjan, another foreign entry, finished 3rd. It's official, and for the millions watching in Great Britain live this telecast, Pebbles 640 to win, 420 to place, and 320 to show. Strawberry Road, a gallant run, 480 and 340, and Morjan, the outsider, finishes 3rd at 1060. Coming up, the $3 million Breeders' Club Classic.
We've been talking a lot about syndication and breeding and shares. Of course, some of the great stars of the past are now in the breeding shed. Well, to give us a little bit better understanding about this breeding business, here's Tom Hammond.
Three of the most important thoroughbred racehorses to have been retired in the last 2 years are Devil's Bag, champion 2-year-old of 1983, Slew of Gold, champion handicap horse 1984, and Spendabuck, Kentucky Derby winner and second all-time leading money winner, arriving in Kentucky, like the other two, never to race again. But this is not a sad occasion. To the thoroughbred breeder, it's a beginning and not an end. A horse may have proved himself to be of championship caliber here on the racetrack, but now he faces a new challenge, to pass on his racing brilliance to his sons and daughters and to justify what is often a tremendous investment and gamble in his future as a breeding animal. The most successful male racehorses are generally syndicated for stud duty. Shares are sold in the animal as if he were a business, and ownership is divided among the individual shareholders, usually 40 shares per horse. Spendabuck, syndicated for $350,000 per share, a total value of $14 million. Slew of Gold, one of the stars of last year's Breeders' Cup Day, $365,000 a share. And Devil's Bag, a disappointment at 3, but syndicated at 2 for a record equaling $1 million a share. A 36-share deal, a horse worth $36 million. And remember, this money was invested by shareholders without a track record on these horses in the breeding shed. With a track record, the figures can be staggering. Seattle Slew, Triple Crown winner, was initially syndicated for $300,000 a share in 1978. He was #1 sire in 1984, and last year, several shares sold for $3 million each. Multiply quickly, and you see he's now worth $120 million. What does a shareholder get for his investment? He gets the right to breed 1 mare per year to that stallion for his entire breeding life, to sell or race the resulting foal. Or he may decide to sell that breeding right for 1 year. That's called a season. If you had purchased a share in a sire that became successful, say Nijinsky in 1970 for $170,000, and sold your season every year, you'd have made about $5 million. How much can a season be worth? This is a horse auction without horses, the matchmaker's sale of seasons and shares. And last year, a 1-year season to the 23-year-old stallion Northern Dancer, the world's greatest sire, sold for $1 million.
Pete, $1 million. Thank you, sir. $1 million.
This is all a huge gamble, and it's difficult to predict which horse will become a successful sire and increase his original value. Secretariat, one of the great runners in thoroughbred history, has fallen short of expectations as a sire and has not yet sired anything approaching his racing ability. Danzig, plagued by injuries, never proved himself on the racetrack, but as the sire of Chief's Crown and other top runners, he's now one of the hottest stallions in the world. Will Devil's Bag, Slew of Gold, and Spendabuck be successful at stud, pass on their running skills, and make the shareholders a nice profit? Well, in addition to money and luck, it takes patience to beat the syndication game. It's tough to wait with all that money invested. But we and the shareholders now have to wait 2 or 3 years to begin to know the answer.
Now, wait a minute. This little farm boy wants to get that straight. If I have a mare and I want Northern Dancer as a sire, $1 million for one chance?
$1 million and no guarantee of a live foal. That's how in demand Northern Dancer is.
So you can understand why the breeders around the country don't always race their horses. Just that yearling sale can be rather delicious. Here, the results on the day, the winners, and the first 4 bred in Florida, then Life's Magic, Kentucky bred, and Pebbles from Great Britain.
And let's take a look at the field for this $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic sponsored by Mobil Oil. And #1 is Gate Dancer, and you can see the hooded wonder there now wearing the earmuffs. Well, Thursday was Halloween. It still looks like Gate Dancer's dressed for it. You can't throw him out. He's a better horse in '85 than he was in '84. Jack Van Berg, last year's Eclipse Award winning trainer. And Gate Dancer was second last out to Van Landingham in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Before that, he only lost the Marlboro by a head to Chief's Crown, who's also one of the competitors here. And the rider is Chris McCarron. And Van Landingham, and this is a horse by Cox's Ridge. In fact, Van Landingham is the name of the last family up there on Cox's Ridge. And Van Landingham has speed. He annihilated him in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Before that, he was third in the Marlboro and second in the Woodward. And this is a terrific racehorse. Likes to be up front. Turcoman, a fresh horse. He's huge. He's 17 hands high, and he has a very confident trainer. Gary Jones was saying earlier this week, bet on him, and if he loses, I'll give you your money back. He was second in the Travers, and he had a big comeback race on October 16th, winning by 10 lengths in Allowance Company. Track Baron, like Van Landingham, likes to be up on the engine. His best race of the year was the Woodward, which he won by 4 lengths, but I have a question mark as whether he can go 1.25 miles this afternoon. That's Junior Cordero aboard. And Chief's Crown, a pro, P-R-O. And it's very interesting. If he loses a race, somebody has to run the race of their life to beat him, and it's happened a couple times this year. But today is the central moment in his racing and breeding career. So much depends on this race right now. Horse of the Year honors, his syndication fee, Chief's Crown, Don Macbeth reunited with him. Don's been aboard him for the last 2 victories, the Marlboro and a handicap here at Belmont Park. Proud Truth, off since May and then came back in October to win by 3, and the Discovery by a neck, which was a tremendous race. He was off because of a slight stress fracture, but he's ready for Bear now. And his sire and his dam, interesting story is that they're both in their 20s. Proud Truth with Velazquez aboard, ready for this one. Bounding Basque, the opposite of Chief's Crown. He'll be out ready to trick or treat with Gate Dancer. You really can't figure him out. He's very, very uneven. And this afternoon, the riding assignment goes to Robbie Davis. And completing the field, a Canadian bred. We haven't had a Canadian winner here. If you want some value, how about Lafitte Pinkai Jr. at over 20-1? He's versatile. He can run up front. He can come from behind. He can run on the turf. He can run under the dirt, but he's never run against this class this afternoon. It is an outstanding field.
And Chief's Crown is the favorite at 2-1. Gate Dancer 3-1. Van Landingham, late action, 9-2.
The Classic, the climax of a day of dreams. And Proud Truth stimulated many dreams last winter. A 3-year-old contender, but injury sidelined him.
He's coming back. He's got a race over the track. This is his 12th start. He still runs a little green.
Turcoman shivers at the prospect of winning a stake, but even in non-stakes competition, he's been impressive.
He exploded here. This is the best 7 furlongs I've seen all year. However, the Breeders' Cup, he's got to run against better horses than this.
Track Baron, fast and tough. He'll look you eyeball to eyeball and try his guts out. But he likes to be alone on the lead.
People who don't watch enough races don't realize that. When a horse is loose on the lead, he's going to be tough. If they let him go, they won't catch him.
And the horse that won't let Track Baron go, by all odds, is Van Landingham. Winner of the Jockey Club Gold Cup, he likes to run on the lead himself.
One of them will be on the lead, Van Landingham or Track Baron. If they go together, they could both collapse.
Stalking will be Chief's Crown. Beaten favorite in all 3 Triple Crown races this spring, but much better now.
And he's won 2 races at 1.25 miles, including this, the Marlboro, beating many of these horses.
This race may not send anybody to the Hall of Fame, but it'll send a lot of us to the betting windows. I picked him last year. I'm going to try again this year. Look for him. He's easy to spot. Earmuffs, hood, everything else. Gate Dancer will run him down on the stretch, Harv.
I like the fact you're picking the same horse because it shows you didn't have the brains to go through the race again. He's got a good shot. This is a strategy race. I like the Chief. He's beaten these horses before. He may beat them again. This is a super horse race.
Another chalk pick from Harv. Back to you, Dick.
Well, there is an interesting line. Here's how it looks now. Chief's Crown the favorite at 2-1. Gate Dancer 3-1. And lots of support as well for Van Landingham at 9-2. How about your choice, Dave?
I'm in big trouble. I have to agree with Pete Axtell.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. I don't think I've ever picked Gate Dancer before, but I like him this afternoon. I think he's going to be terrific. Now down to Tom Hammond.
We're at the starting gate, Dave, and the starter, Frank Cavaliers, has just told us that they're going to load Track Baron last. Now, he's one of the horses we expect to make the early pace along with Van Landingham, but he's a chronic slow breaker, so they load him into the gate last, so he won't be pushed back against the rear of the gate, that he'll be ready to move, his momentum all going forward. They'll take some special precautions with Track Baron as they load the horses in the gate for the Classic.
Well, last year was a 31-1 long shot. Wild again. Let's check the longest price on the board. 26-1. Imperial Choice, the Canadian entry.
And you get Pinkai for that. And in the jockey picture. How about Pat Day? He's got a chance to win another $3 million race. There's Roger Lauren. It's his last race as a trainer. He's retiring after this one. He'd love to see Chief's Crown come home a winner.
Lauren at age 50 said he'll go into the breeding business himself, give up training. Pat Day aboard Van Landingham, trying to make it back-to-back in the Classic. He's aboard number 2, Van Landingham. Imperial Choice being guided in. And they're ready now for a $3 million run. Let's go upstairs.
And they're up in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and Chief's Crown is away quickly. And so is Van Landingham. And Cordero sends Track Baron in between them now to grab the lead. Cordero puts Track Baron on the lead now, and he takes him back a bit. And Van Landingham comes after him from the outside. Chief's Crown comes away with the leaders, now racing in 3rd position. Imperial Choice is 4th on the outside. Bounding Basque is racing in 5th. And then it's Gate Dancer. He's 6th on the inside. Farther back are Turkoman and Proud Truth, the trailers. Track Baron with pressure from Van Landingham. The first quarter went at an even 23 seconds. Those two hook up as they begin their run up the backstretch. It's a gap of 3.5 lengths back to Chief's Crown and Imperial Choice alongside. Another 2 back to Gate Dancer, and he's about 7 lengths off the lead now. Bounding Basque alongside, racing in 6th position. Then Turkoman second to last, and Proud Truth trails. 46 and 4 for the half mile. They continue up the backstretch. It's still Track Baron holding on to the lead. Van Landingham is right at his neck. It's another 3.5 lengths back to a patient Don Macbeth with Chief's Crown. Now he asks him for a run with a half mile to go. Imperial Choice is right alongside Chief's Crown. Gate Dancer is moving through in between horses now. Turkoman is putting in a big run toward the rail, and they're midway around the final furlong now. They're midway 3 furlongs to run. It's Track Baron with a short lead. Imperial Choice is gaining ground on the outside. Van Landingham. Chief's Crown is surging. Chief's Crown now emerges from in between horses. Imperial Choice is right there. Gate Dancer is closing boldly on the outside. Proud Truth, he was last down the backstretch. He's taking it to the leader. It's Gate Dancer in front with less than a furlong to run. Proud Truth is right at his neck. Proud Truth on the outside. Gate Dancer is game. Proud Truth ahead. Gate Dancer, those two a driving finish. Proud Truth has won it. Proud Truth got up in the final jumps to defeat Gate Dancer. Those two were heads apart, bobbing at the finish. The final time, 2 minutes and 4/5 of a second. Proud Truth, the winner of the 2nd Breeders' Cup Classic.
The 3-year-old Proud Truth, a surprise at 7-1, ridden by George Velasquez. The arch rival of Chief's Crown, an off-the-pace threat, 5th in the Kentucky Derby, couldn't handle the track. But boy, he loved it at Aqueduct today.
Just 5 days ago, Proud Truth won the Discovery by a neck in the greatest performance of his life. But this was his biggest payday this afternoon as he slipped through fractions of 23, 46 and 4, 111, the mile in 136 and 2, and mowed down Gate Dancer on the outside in the final furlongs, home in 2 minutes and 4/5 of a second. Darby Dan Farms Proud Truth. John Galbraith said this is the best horse he ever owned. He's just been proven right. Many of us thought that it wasn't. $3 million. John Veach, the trainer, and on the far outside, wearing the brown and fawn colors, you're going to see Proud Truth roll on with Velasquez, who won earlier this afternoon with Life's Magic. It looked to me like I was going to be a winner here with Gate Dancer. Chris McCarron, left-handed whip there, but here comes Velasquez on the outside, and down the stretch they come for a 2-horse race for the $3 million. Proud Truth on the outside with just 5 days rest. What a performance as he wins the Classic today.
And a classic race again it was, the son of Graustark. And there you see it on the wire, by ahead. Proud Truth, 1680 to win, 660 and 460. Gate Dancer again in the classic picture, 420 and 320. And Turkoman third, paid 660. And for George Velasquez, he is the first to win 2 in the same Breeders' Cup. Better take off that like and put in a heart. I love Proud Truth. John Galbraith presented the award for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Alan E. Murray, president of Mobil Corporation. Congratulations. Here's the complete order of finish.
Proud Truth, the winner in the photo. Gate Dancer, second in the Classic. Turcoman finished third. Chief's Crown was fourth. Fifth under the wire was Track Baron. Imperial Choice sixth. Van Landingham was seventh, and Bounding Basque was eighth and last in the field.
A great day of racing. Let's go to Bruff Scott for his impressions.
Yes, well, there's a rule all over the world in racing. If you can take anything home, you want to be grateful. Our greatest hopes weren't fulfilled, but Pebbles came good in the turf. She goes around the corners. She's a little sweetie.
Sharon, what great races in the Breeders' Cup this afternoon. The Breeders' Cup is designed to decide championships. It seems to me it mostly scrambled the championship pictures.
Well, there were probably some owners of some absent horses that were pleased to see what happened. Perhaps Agaijan's going to be the 2-year-old champion. Mom's Command back in the picture maybe for the 3-year-old filly championship. Spendabuck may be the 3-year-old colt champion because Proud Truth hasn't raced that much. It's really hard to tell. It'll be very interesting to see how people vote.
Well, a great day of racing. Let's go to Pete and Harvey.
Well, one big winner today. We're here in the gathering gloom. I think the Breeders' Cup program has proven it can survive even in the bleak chill of Aqueduct almost as well as it did in the glamour of California. The only thing that really wasn't surprising today was that Harvey again lost. But we're hoping the law of averages, if they run the Breeders' Cup enough, someday you'll win.
The law of averages is on my side. It hasn't passed both houses. It's still in committee. But I like something in the third tomorrow if you're lucky enough to see me. It was a great day for racing.
Let's go back to Dick and Dave.
All right, gentlemen, we hope you go back with your pockets full or your boots full, as the case may be. What were your impressions, Dave?
Well, for all of us at the racetrack, 42,500, and those of you at home, it was a great celebration of the thoroughbred. But for those of us in the industry, I think it was very special because of Fred Hooper and John Galbraith, two of our great men winning races this afternoon.
You know, one of my impressions is the fact that you can really mix sports after all. You can take the owner of a football team, Eugene Klein, and you throw him in with a former Wisconsin high school basketball coach, Wayne Lukas, and put him in this industry, the thoroughbred racing business, and they are the grand winners today with 1, 2, and 2 different races.
A tremendous afternoon for Wayne Lukas. He's really proven himself here again today.
Well, they call it the Breeders' Cup. It is to celebrate the end of a racing season. We saw the world's best here today from across the ocean in Europe to those best runners here in America. And we salute Tasso, Twilight Ridge, Precisionist, Cozine, Life's Magic, Pebbles, Proud Truth, all winners today of $1 million championship races. For all of us at NBC Sports, thank you for being with us at Aqueduct for this Breeders' Cup Day. So the celebration of the equine experience. It ran true to form, the Breeders' Cup, underlining its place as the ultimate end to another exciting racing year. In 2 short years, the Breeders' Cup has become a solid part of thoroughbred tradition, a 1980s link to centuries of racing. Today, we had the delightful experience at Aqueduct to find out whose horse was best. So the races have been run, and the cycle continues. And with it, new hopes, new dreams. As certain as its heritage, these magnificent animals will run and race again.